Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Friday Khutbah series brought to you by the Tahara Collective. We've been doing this every week consistently from 12 to 1, and we're grateful that people continue to attend and listen. So welcome again today. Today we have Dr. Mubarak Ukashat that's going to be delivering the khutbah today. So thank you very much, sir, for your time. We're very grateful. So I'm just going to turn it over to you. We're going to begin now. Thank you very much, sir. Please turn on your video and unmute your microphone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. It's good to see you guys. This is Brother Mubarak Ukashat, and I will start by saying Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulih al-Kareem, Muhammadin al-Amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. My brothers and sisters here present, we have a very interesting topic today. It has to do with duty to parents and keeping ties of kinship in general. Inshallah, I know we have questions in mind. This is a very broad topic, and we have a book written by Ibn Jawzi on being dutiful to parents. I'm going to try as much as possible to make this concise. This should take at least 2 to 3 hours of discussion. But we have exactly maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes sometime. I don't know if you guys have questions as I talk, but I'll try to make this as concise as possible. I want to start by making us understand our placement in this regard. Some of us, we try our best to please our parents, and the questions we have is, oh, am I doing enough, or do I need to do more? Some others, you feel you did something and you're like, oh, did I wrong my parents this by doing this or by not doing? We have different things troubling us. So I want you to, from the beginning of this class, just note down that thing that's troubling you with regards to your relationship to your parents or your brothers, your sisters, your siblings, something that's been creating havoc or disunity in the family, something that's been creating some kind of, rancor in your family. Some people, they just don't know where they are. They can't even figure out their relationship with their parents at this point. Whether you belong to stage 1, you belong to stage 2, you belong to stage 3, whichever group you belong, hopefully after this class, the aim of this khutbah today or this talk is to give you a better perspective of how to view your position to your parents and how to improve on that position, how to make it better. Okay. So I'm going to start with the basics. We know the basics. Parents, they spend their time for us. They spend all their money to take care of us. Your mom carried you for 9 months. You stressed her backbone. You changed her whole physical nature until they had you through all the pain and all the contractions. And your dad spent all the money. These are the things that are known. So we all know basically our tradition and culture as Africans or Nigerians per se. I respect Yoruba people a lot when it comes to respecting parents. They can ballet, even that is not Islamic. They go as far as bowing and laying on the floor for their parents or their elders. Okay, but the point is, we'll see the reality behind this. So I would like to clarify at the beginning the difference between obedience to parents and duties to parents. We need to get this very clearly. You have duties to your parents. You have responsibilities to your parents. You have things that you should do for your parents. It's totally different from obeying them when they ask you to do something, or when they ask something of you, or they want something from you. They want you to marry this particular girl. They don't want you to marry that one. So in the course of this lecture, we're going to come to that clarification, okay? Okay. So some of us might be like, okay, why do you keep saying being dutiful to parents? There are some parents who do not love. They are not like real parents. Some of us have parents who are just bad, who are terrible, who didn't take care of them, who threw them away, who there are special cases where we have parents who are either having mental problems or they face through divorce. They had all these problems in their life, and then the child, the innocent child, suffers. Now the pikin, now they suffer. When I know that this English they deceive not too much. I they speak pidgin too. So sometimes the pikin is the one that is suffering. So when you know that your papa and your mama, they have this special case where they've been through some things that have influenced their connection, their relationship to you, then you should understand that they are no longer in the real case of what the parents should be. You shouldn't blame them for the calamities or for the mistakes they have done. So our class today is going to be on a generic platform where everything is assumed to be normal, all things being equal, ceteris paribus. So your parents are okay, they've not been through any kind of abuse or any kind of mental health problem or any kind of drug abuse or anything like that. But when we have special cases during our questions and answers, we look into those special cases, inshallah. So what I'm saying, your mom is next to you, your mom has been a good mom. They might ask you to do something to do, or then what have you been doing as respect to Islamic upbringing? What does Islam tell us to do back to these people? So by the end of this class, you should have learned a lot about this. Let me go straight ahead because of time. Ibn al-Jawzi in his book started his introduction and said, no matter how much you do for your parents, how much you do, you can never give back enough. You can never do enough to give back for what they have done, the sacrifice they have done. So have that at the back of your mind at the beginning of this class. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Okay, a hadith by Zahra bin Ibrahim. He says, a man came to Umar. I said, I have my mom who I carry every morning and in the evening. I carry her in my back or on my back because she's old. I take her everywhere she goes. I took her all the way to Mecca and back. You know, and it's like, have I been able to complete my responsibility as the duty I have for my parents by carrying this, my old mom around? Umar said, no, not yet. Not yet. Because this old woman, you are carrying her at your back or on your back and forth, because you just want to let her go. You're already tired of her. You wish that she's going to die very soon. Let me just do this. And Umar said, but this woman did the same for you when you were young, and she was wishing for you life. She was wanting you to stay alive. She sacrificed everything. She carried you on her back or on her back. She pampered you. You were throwing all over her. You pooped all over her. She was doing it with love. But now you are taking care of her at old age, and you are doing it with, I beg, this old mama said, awala too much. You can never put those two on the same platform at all. Number one. Another man, compared to Ibn Umar, when the man carried his mom to Hajj from Khorsan, a very far place, used the mom to do tawaf, perform Hajj for the mom, and told Ibn Umar, he said, Ibn Umar, I think I have done something for me. Ibn Umar said, you have not done you have not done not even one of her contractions while she was having you as a child, that thing you just did for her will pay for. You cannot. You cannot. So I'll start right now. That is just the things you have at the back of your mind. If you like, build for your mom a house of $100 billion US, put them in the best whatever. The prophet is telling you, you cannot pay back. You cannot pay back. Now the question is, how can we try? What can we do? Okay, as if he said the level would not be like this, we cannot give. So we want to try to give. It's like saying worshiping Allah. You cannot worship Allah enough. Is that okay? That's the way to see it. You can, if you like, pray the whole night. If you like, fast the whole day. If you like, it's not enough. We know the hadith of the man who worshiped Allah for 500 years. No sin. The guy hid himself. 500 years. No sin goes sin. Allah still put him in paradise out of his mercy. And when the man wanted to argue, he said, I hustle all this journal. Me, when they committee, they pray every night. Allah asked the angels to compare his actions for 500 years with his sight that he could see while he was alive. He was not blind. And the gift of sight, another narration said even it was his eyelashes Allah used to measure all those deeds of 500 years, and they outweighed all his deeds for 500 years. Just sight alone, the ni'mah, the favor, the blessing of sight alone outweighed all that. You know, sometimes we don't kind of acknowledge the blessings we have. You know, say, okay, I need $500,000, I need 5 million naira, I need this. Everybody just hustling. You don't know Allah has blessed you with more than that. Is that okay? One sheikh will tell his friend, he say, okay, don't worry, I'll give you 500 billion US dollars. Just give me your 2 eyes. That is when you will realize you have something worth more than that. Allah says in Surah Al-Isra, Quran chapter 17, verse 23, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I'm going to read it how we memorized it when we were children. He said, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ, your Lord has decreed, أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا, that you should not worship, إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ, except him alone. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and to your parents be dutiful, be nice, be kind. No, they do yanga for your papa, mama. No, they carry body because you don't get money, you don't hammer. You are now Haja of the whole galaxy. You are not the one in charge of all the whole one bear and everything. No, don't let that get into your head with respect to your parents. Is that okay? So the verse continues, it says, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ. Say when they get to old age, أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا, one of them or both of them, فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا, you should not say to them, even if a little of أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. Don't even say, oh, waiting, leave me, mama, I just did this. No, don't even raise your eyebrow on them. Don't even, some of you be eyeing your parents like this. You know? No, Allah said it is not good. And we're going to see how the scholars advised us to follow these footsteps. Is that okay? وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا, and say nice words to them, honorable words to them. وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا, and humble yourself down to them. جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا, and say, oh Allah, have mercy on both of them. كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا, just the way they took care of me while I was young. Okay? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts gratitude to him in Surah Al-Luqman, Quran chapter 31, verse 14. Allah puts gratitude to him besides gratitude to parents when he said, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ, and we advise the man to be nice to his parents. حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ, that the mom, carried him pain upon pain, tiredness upon tiredness, weakness upon weakness. You weakened her the whole time. Is that okay? وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ, and took care, breastfed you for 2 years. أَنِشْكُرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيْكِ, so you be grateful to me and be grateful to your parents. Be grateful to your parents. Is that okay? So how? Like I said, we're going to see special cases when it comes to obedience and when it comes to duties. So we're going to see special cases, okay? And I'm going to make that clear as we go along. So what is the status of being good? So what do you get in return? So this is business now. So what do I get in return if I want to be nice to my parents? Okay. So a man came to Rasulullah and said, I want to go for jihad. I want to go fight in the battle with you, beside you. And the Prophet said, do you have your parents alive? He said, yes. He said, go take care of them. That is a better jihad for you than fighting in the cause of Allah subhanahu. Can you imagine? The Prophet is saying taking care of your parents is better than jihad. You people have not seen anything. Today's lecture is going to be an eye-opener for some of us that take our parents for granted. And I forgot one particular group. There is a particular group of those who have lost their parents. And some of them are here in this lecture. They don't have mom anymore. They don't have dad anymore. Don't worry. Don't worry. Your hope is not lost. Your hope is not lost. Is that okay? Let me note that down. Because at the end of my lecture, I'm going to take that. Those who have none. Okay, those who have none, okay? What you gonna go do? How you gonna go run on our own package? We get that package for now today. Is that okay? We not run anywhere. Everything will be all right. Now let's continue. A man left the parents crying for jihad. He came, he said, I left my mom and dad at home because I want to fight with you, Prophet Muhammad. This is another hadith. He said they were crying. He said, your parents were crying. Why? He said they didn't want me to go. Prophet said, go and stay with your parents. You cannot fight jihad when your parents do not accept you to go for that jihad. Is that okay? So the Prophet said, go back home, make them laugh exactly how much you have made them cry. Is that okay? Make them laugh exactly how much you have made them cry. Is that okay? Good. Now let's continue. He says, a man came from Yemen and came to Rasul from all the way from Yemen. He came to Medina and said, I want to join you in jihad. The Prophet said, you came from Yemen. Did your parents grant you permission to join this jihad? He said, no. He said, go back to Yemen. If your papa and mama never allow you, go back to that place where you come. You cannot go to this jihad. Is that okay? A hadith said, the Prophet said, Rid Allahi fi rid al-walidain. Allah's pleasure is in the pleasure of your parents. وَسَخْتُ اللَّهِ فِي سَخْتِ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. Allah's displeasure is in the displeasure of the parents. So there is this song we usually sing when we are little. Al-ummu fiddatun ghaliya ghaliya. He said, mom is like an expensive silver that cannot be bought. Is that okay? It's a long song. I don't want to take your time. We don't have time for all those songs now. I know some of you like song. Well. Don't worry. We don't have time for all those songs now. We'll have a lot of lessons to learn today. Sorry. Take this computer out. Okay. A man came to the Prophet Muhammad and said, which deed is the best? And then the Prophet said, as-salatu ala waqtiha, for you to pray on time. And then the next thing he said after prayer is birrul walidain, for you to obey your parents. And then the next thing he said, al-jihadu fi sabilillah. So the Prophet put obedience to parents even before jihad, after salah. This is really, really, really important for us. In many narrations, the Prophet said, anyone who wants Allah to increase his provision, you want me to get money, you want hammer, you want life to be easy for you, and you want to have long life, you want Allah to give you long life to enjoy. He said, be good to your parents. Be good to your parents. Is that okay? And he also said, if you don't have wealth to give, then give time. Give your time. We're going to see how. How are we going to be dutiful? Okay, you've said all these status. You said how the importance. The Prophet said, if I met my parents alive in a hadith, and I was praying salah, and I had my mom or my dad call my name, I will answer their call. I will leave my prayer and answer their call. This is a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad to tell you the importance of being good to your parents. If the Prophet can say he will leave his salah, most scholars say that salah will be like a voluntary salah, but we're going to see other narrations that emphasize of even congregational salah. This is really very important. Really, really very important. Okay? Okay. Let me hold this here. This last one. Very important. Good. Now, how are we going to be dutiful to our parents? How do we want to achieve this? So this is the next level. Abu Hurairah sallallahu radiyallahu anhu. I say Abu Hurairah sallallahu, excuse me. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, one of the Sahabas, the one who was best known for his hadith memorization. He was walking one day. He saw a man and another man walking behind him. And he said, oh, young man, who are you? He said, oh, this is my father. So the one that was in the back was the father. The son was in front. And then Abu Hurairah said, come. He told the son, he said, you are making a mistake. Never walk in front of your father. Allow your father to walk ahead of you, or at least you walk side by side. Okay? So we are seeing how Sahabas treated their parents. In fact, you people should wait. There is more to this. A lot of lessons to learn. Abu Hurairah advised this guy. He said, if you talk, be mild. Don't raise your voice. If mama call, you say, yes, mommy, yes. No, that yelling, mommy, yes. it is considered being dishonoring to your parents, being disloyal to your parents. Is that okay? Abu Hurairah mentioned that even when you are eating, we're going to see a Sahaba. I'm going to tell you that I don't want to, there's just too much information. I'll try to go gradually. So even if you are eating with your parent and you see that your parent want to shop that meat, don't shop it. Let your parents shop the meat. You leave the meat. So the story is, if your parents want something and you also want that thing, sacrifice it. It's not, I'm going to come to the special case. I'm not saying you must, but if you want to have the pleasure of Allah, sacrifice it for them. It's a very complicated issue, this particular part, and I'm going to emphasize on it at the end of the lecture. And I know people will have questions. So if you want something, your parents want it, let it go for them. Let it go for them. Someone asked Al-Hassan that a man was doing da'wah to the parents. So the parents, maybe they were doing juju, or they were doing shirk, they were doing something that is un-Islamic. So this man was preaching for the parents, say, Mom, you have to stop this, Mom. Then Al-Hassan said, listen to me. You can only preach. If they listen to your preaching, Alhamdulillah. If they don't listen to your preaching, Yarhamkallah. Is that not what somebody sneezes? They say Alhamdulillah, say Yarhamkallah. So you say, if they listen to your preaching, Alhamdulillah. If they don't listen to your preaching, it is also good. It doesn't mean if your parents don't listen to your advice, even if that advice is good, and your parents are not nice to you, they are not very kind to you, Al-Hassan is saying, and the Prophet said in another hadith, you will still be dutiful to them. That doesn't mean you stop giving them shop money. You stop sending them provision. Oh, okay, Daddy, since you don't listen to me, that car I promised to buy you, I won't buy it for you anymore. No, you are taking things out of hand. So he's saying, if they listen, fine. If they don't listen, you still have to be dutiful to them. The Prophet said in the hadith, he said, looking at the face of your mom, looking at the face of your parents is rewarding, is sadaqah. In another hadith, he said it's ibadah, it's worship. For you to just sit down and look at your mama's face. Is that okay? Just looking at your mom's face, looking at your parents' face, the Prophet said it's rewarding. It's ajr. You are getting rewarded for it. Subhanallah. Now, if looking at the face of your parents is rewarding, why are you taking vacation with your children to do? When was the last time you visited with your children to go visit their grandparents? When was the last time you visited your grandparents with your children to get this so they will look at their face and get reward? Then the next hadith is the preference. So the hadith says, a man came to the Prophet and asked, who is the closest person to me in my family? The Prophet said, Ummuk, your mom. He said, Qala thumma man. He said, then who? Qala ummuka. He said, your mom. Qala thumma. So he mentioned the mom 3 times before mentioning the dad. So many scholars use this to place the status of the mom over the dad. Some people who say if you want share money, that means if you give your mama 30,000, you give your papa 10,000. Please, it has not gotten to that level. Your papa still has responsibilities. Excuse me. Okay, some people use that as sharing formula for money too. But inarguably, the status of the mom has been placed higher than the dad, but both of them are very, very important. That's why the Prophet said, the paradise is under the feet of the mom. Mama, mama, mama. Mama, the mama is very important to you. You're going to see the hadith we're going to come to. And you're going to see the importance of what's going on. A man came to Abu Darda, a Sahaba. He said, I married the daughter of Umar and I like her, but my mom is asking me to divorce her. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What am I going to do? I want to marry this girl, but my mom is asking me to divorce her. Abu Darda told him, he said, I will not ask you to divorce her. Neither will I ask you to disobey your mom. Listen to these wise words. He said, but I'm going to teach you something the Prophet said. The Prophet said that the closest door to paradise, the easiest way to paradise is your mom. That's all I will tell you. Now you go do whatever you like. This leads me to the special case. You guys should understand. I have had a personal experience where my parents wanted me to marry a particular person. I didn't like her. She wasn't attracted to me at all. And I didn't want to marry her. And I refused marrying her. The Prophet has broken marriage. It is known. A parent forced, during the Prophet time, a girl was forced to marry someone. The lady didn't want the marriage. He came to the Prophet. The Prophet told the parents, you can't force someone. You can't do that. You can't force someone to marry who they don't want. And this is very, very very plenty these days. It's happening a lot these days. A lot of things going on these days. Parents trying to force marriages on people. Is that okay? It is not good. And they will be using obedience of parents as excuse. Now, let me make this clear. In this hadith of Abu Darda, you see, he was very smart. If you tell your mom you don't want to divorce her because you love her and she doesn't have any problem, she's not somebody that is problematic to the family in any way, just because they don't like her lineage or something, you don't like the family or the tribe. There's a lot of these reasons they give. Islam doesn't care about all that. And by now, we should outgrow that in our families. It's very important. I want to know how they made me speak English. I don't want to speak too much English today. I want pass message more and understand the message. Good. If your mom asks you to do something, for example, you live in a big house, and your mom say, please, I'm tired of living in the village. I want to come and live with you in the big house. If you sacrifice your house for your mom to come stay, wallahi, Allah will reward you. But if you can't, for certain reason, you'll be like, mom, don't worry, I'll build you your own house. I'll do this for you. That is not disobedience or disloyalty in any way. Let's go to the marriage issue. For Abu Darda, the man said, the mom asked her to divorce. And Abu Darda advised him. He said, the prophet said, the closest door to paradise is your mom. So the wisdom is, if Abu Darda is patient and sacrifice the woman he loves so much just to obey his mom, Allah will reward him for sure. Allah will reward him excessively for obeying your mom and sacrifice your will. But if he refused to obey the mom because he wants that woman and as his wife and he doesn't want to leave her, Allah will not record it as a sin for him. That is the point I want to clarify at this point. Because that he is not disloyal to the mom. He just, this is the woman I want to marry. This is my business and I want to take care of it myself. That is not considered disobedience to parents. Is that okay? In other hadith, the Prophet said, anyone who kisses the forehead of his mom, Allah will save that person from hellfire. Allah will keep hellfire far away from the face of that person. He said, if you kiss, you just kissing the forehead of your mom out of love. Oh, mommy of the Ogalazi, mommy, I have missed you. You know, like now I'm in Nigeria. I just arrived in Nigeria yesterday. I've been in the US for over a year. I haven't come home. And I came home and I went to see my mom in the village this morning before I came to Abuja. You know, just hugging my mom, kissing my mom's face, you know, Allah is rewarding you for that. And the Prophet said, if you kiss your mom's forehead, Allah will save you from hellfire just by kiss, only kiss. In another narration, the Prophet said, anyone who looks at the face of the parents out of love and smiles, out of love, just looking at your parents, smile, yeah, daddy, mommy. He said, Allah will give you the reward of Hajj. You are like someone who has performed Hajj. And then the Sahaba say, hey, Prophet, excuse me, what you the talk said? We then look at our mama every day and like 100 times said. The Prophet said, Allah has plenty Hajj to give, more than 100 for each of you. So keep looking at them with love and staring at them with care and affection. And for each stare, for each smile, for each look, you have the reward of Hajj. Some of you are complaining, I never go Hajj, I they gather money. See shortcut to Hajj every day. Allah just to go, mama, sit down here, I want to look you, just sit down, I want to look you for like 10 minutes, don't go anywhere. I want to get 10 minutes Hajj. Simple. Simple. The Salafs have been known to direct people to be good to their parents as a means of forgiving their sins. A man came to a Sahaba, a Salaf, and said, oh, I did this, I committed this sin, I'm sorry, I don't know how to, if Allah will forgive me. I have sought for forgiveness. He said, oh, shut up, it's okay, you don't need to tell me about the sin that you committed. Is your mom alive? The first thing, when the Sahabas and the Salaf, the predecessors, when they hear anyone complaining of their sins, the first thing they ask them is your parent alive? Do you have your mom? Do you have your dad? Go give sadaqah to them. Be nice to them. Obey. Just do something unique to them. Allah will accept that your tawbah, that your repentance. So being dutiful to parents is a means of repentance and forgiveness in Islam. A man was talking to a scholar. He said, oh, my mom, every time she's asking me to help her in the house, I help her in the house, and then I miss the Salatul Jama'ah. They are praying in the mosque. I'm helping my mom. Before I make wudu go, I miss the congregational prayer. The ulama, the alim told me, say, continue what you are doing for your mom. Continue is better than that congregation you are running to. Don't stop it. Do not stop it. Another one said, he came to the prophet, he said, my mom made me swear that I should only fast Ramadan. I should not fast any other fasting because she wants me to be eating with her every day, apart from Ramadan. I mean, I want to fast Monday, Thursday. Prophet said, shut up. Obey your mama. Don't fast that fast. Do the one that is compulsory and leave. So the only way you disobey your mom, like disobedience, when the mommy are not going to do this thing, apart from the special case I've explained earlier, is when they ask you, is when they ask you to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they ask you to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me take this. I'm very, very sorry. This person is waiting for me. I have a lecture going on. I sent you a number to call. I sent you a number to call. My lecture is on right now. I can't talk. Yeah. Very sorry about that. I didn't want to keep the people waiting. Okay. In another narration, a man used to go and memorize Quran. After Isha, he will learn Quran, memorize Quran, and then the mom will be waiting for him at home with dinner. So the mom wants to eat dinner with him. So after he finished Quran, he will come for dinner. And then Ibn Umar told him, he said, what are you doing? You keep your mom waiting because you want to go and memorize Quran. He said, no. Leave that Quran you are memorizing. Go and eat with your mom first. After you don't shop finish, your mom don't rest, then you go and memorize Quran. You people don't know the importance. You people don't know what parents are. In fact, there's a hadith. I want to say the hadith, but I want to wait for the real time. I don't want the end of it. I'm saving it. This lecture is growing. Trust me, what I'm saying now is the beginning. We are still in the Genesis. We've not come to the main heart of the lecture. Let's continue. The scholars say if your mom and your dad give you two different opinions about a particular matter, obey your mom. Obey your moms. If they are equally viable. Is that okay? You are not sure. They are equally good advice, but you are not sure which one to take or which one to do. The scholars advise you to take the one of your mom. Not when you know that your mama know the one they make sense. The one when she talk no good, you want, not that type. A serious issue where your mom gives opinion, the dad give a different opinion, and they are both equally okay, but you are not sure which one. He said, take that of your mom. You will get blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why a scholar said, remember we said looking at your mom is worship, looking at your parents is ibadah. He said, if looking at your parents is worship, what about obeying them? Imagine what Allah will give you for obeying them. Okay. We know the hadith of the three men in the cave. See, talking about how people obey parents and for us to learn. The three men who were in the cave and the rock sealed the door of the cave. Is that okay? The rock sealed the door of the cave. 1 second. Okay. And then they started saying the different good things they've done in their life for Allah to save them from that. That's one way of making dua. Say, oh Allah, I did this for your sake. Please help me now. Please help me now. So everybody started saying their own. So one of them said he used to carry milk to his parents' house for them to have milk before coming to his own family house. So one night he came to the parents' house to give them milk. They were sleeping. The children were crying. They were hungry. But he didn't want to give his children before the parents. So he stood there with the milk until they woke up in the morning before going to feed his children who were hungry and his wife. He said he did that for Allah. Allah opened the door for them. So if he had gone, this is another very important point. Your parents are sleeping. What stops you from taking the milk to your family first and bring theirs one day? You can totally do that. You have not done anything wrong. But out of respect and the level to which you hold that responsibility to your mom that you want them to have it first before your family, you left your hungry family crying to feed your parents first. Allah rewards you for it. Allah rewards excessively. In the hadith, the Prophet said, anyone who's obedient to the parents, Allah will definitely forgive. Allah said, I will forgive you if you are good to your parents. If your parents see you and they are happy, Allah will see you and be happy. If your parents see you and they are sad and you are making them cry, Allah will make you cry. If you are trouble to your family, you are trouble to your parents, Allah will put trouble in your life. If you are peace, if you are smart, Allah will put, this is nothing to even argue. This is practical. Look at people who have good lives. Go and see their relationship with them. I'm not talking, money is not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying people who have money. There's some people who have money, they don't have good life. When I say good life, people who are contented, who are happy with their life, who have no trouble, no spiritual problem, no this one, you will see how they are very good with their parents. And we're going to tell you how. Just relax. Like I said, we are in the middle of the lecture. We are going. Please, panelists, host, be sending me message to remind me how much time I have left. Because if you leave me like this, I'll talk here till tomorrow. We'll go sleep here. I'll carry all of you to worry. Okay. The Prophet said, no one can be 100% good to their parents, no matter how much you do, except one person. There is one particular person that can have 100% over 100% for being dutiful to their parents. And the companions asked the Prophet, who is that person? He said, that person who met the parents or the mom or the dad, either of them or both of them, as slaves, and he frees them. Oh, yeah, Allah. So you see, your mom was a captive as a slave, and you freed your mom from slavery. The Prophet said, then we can say you have done something in terms of being dutiful to your parents. The Prophet said in our hadith, he said, I was in Jannah. I saw myself in my Jannah. While I was trying to enjoy my Jannah, I was hearing somebody reciting Quran close to me, like I said the person was just by the next door. He said, who is that person that is reciting Quran by near me? And the angel said, Haritha ibn Nu'man. Haritha ibn Nu'man. And the Prophet said, hey, no wonder. Because this Haritha ibn Nu'man was known for being good to his parents. That's the only thing he was known. Aisha radiallahu anha said, there are two people, oh, I have 10 more minutes. Okay, good. He said, there are two people who are known to be very good to their parents, Uthman ibn Affan and Haritha ibn Nu'man. How were they good to their parents? Uthman ibn Affan was very rich, so he said, anything my parents ask me, I give them. Anything at all they tell me they want, I don't think twice, I give them. Haritha ibn Nu'man was not so rich, so what he does, he physically gives time to his parents. He said, it is narrated that Haritha ibn Nu'man was combing the mom's hair. Imagine how close you are. Combing the mom's hair. He said, rest the mom's head on his lap. Comb the mom's hair and be telling the mom bedtime stories. Oh. What you are doing with your wife, jolly. He's doing jolly to the mom. See love. Mama, what do you want? Mama, let me sweep this. Mama, to the mom. And because of that, the Prophet had his recitation in paradise. Is that okay? In another narration, the Prophet saw a group of people. He didn't know them before. He said, you group, come. Is there a woman called Wajira amongst you? They say, yes, there's a woman called Wajira amongst us. He said, tell her she's among the people of paradise because of her being good to her parents. Tell her she's among the people of paradise because she's being good to the parents. In another hadith, before this, my 10 minutes finish, I have lots of, I will try to finish. I must finish between these 10 minutes. These 10 minutes will go longer, I go to 100 minutes spiritually. So he said, the Prophet said, one of you here, the Prophet is talking, he said, one of you here, the angel of death came to take his life. But his obedience to parent fought the angel of death away. Say, for where? Which life? Get out. He said his obedience to parent fought the angel of death away, and now the person is still alive. So when the Prophet said obedience to parents and being dutiful, let me use that word, being dutiful to your parents gives long life, that is what we're talking about. Okay. There's still a lot. I'm just going to take away some points, or I will try as much as I can to summarize within the next few minutes, okay? Thank God for giving me that time. I thought I had more time. I still have one page of points left. So Ibn Sirin was saying, one of the Salafus Salih, he bought like $10,000 worth of fruits. And they're like, why are you buying all these fruit? They're too expensive. He said, my mom asked me to, so shut up. If my mom asks me to buy anything, I'll buy it, whether it's expensive or not. Some of us, we use Gucci, we use Chanel. Our mama, they wear slippers, rubber sandals, and keto sandals. It's not good. It's not good. Take care of your parents. And they need it. They'll tell you, my pikin, we self go use. You use iPhone. Give mama iPhone too. Now, if she knows to be a operator, she go learn. She go learn. A Sahaba was known to be very good to the mom, but he was observed not to eat with the mom. And he was asked, you are very nice. Why don't you eat with her? He said, I'm afraid that when I'm eating with her, I will eat something she likes and then she gets mad at me. So for that reason, I don't want to even put myself in a position to annoy my mom. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu one day went to fetch water for the mom, but when he came back, the mom was sleeping. He held the water till the mom woke up and gave the water to the mom. Ibn Aun freed 2 slaves because when the mom called his name, he yelled, he said, Mom, yes. He by mistake, he felt that he yelled back at his mom, answering the mom's call. Out of his feeling of, he felt so bad for himself, he freed 2 slaves, asking for forgiveness for Allah, just because he answered the mom with a voice that he felt was higher than normal. A Sahaba came from his trip and saw the mom praying, so he stood at the door. He didn't want to go sit down. He wanted to wait for the mom to finish prayer before he sat down. So the mom observed him by the door. The mom elongated her prayer. And then he asked the mom, why did you elongate your prayer? He said, because I want you to get more reward. I saw that you stood as respect for me. So I elongated the prayer so you stand for longer time. So Allah will keep rewarding you while you are standing there. See how mother and child are understanding themselves in terms of reciprocating duties. Okay, the last part of this lecture is about disobedience. We'll talk about obedience. What about disobedience? So the Prophet said the big sins are shirk. And after shirk, in many hadiths, he said disobedience or disloyalty, you not being dutiful to your parents. Is that okay? And then another hadith, he said there are 3 people Allah will not look upon them on the day of judgment. One of them is the one who is being bad to the parents. So people beat their parents, they slap their parents, they push them. Get out of my house, you mom, dirty mom. Some of you, I don't understand. Wallahi, the Prophet said in the hadith that the punishment for those who are disobedient to their parents is in this world. Allah will not punish you later. He said Allah will punish them here. You will not die before God will punish you for being bad to your parents. And we see it today. It's very obvious in our society today. You see, he said Allah curses the one who curses their parents. Is that okay? Allah curses the one who curses their parents. In the narration, the Prophet said, anyone who prays and fasts and does good things, Allah will put them with the siddiqeen, wa shuhada, wa salihin on the day of judgment, to be in paradise. So long as they do not disobey their parents. You see the comma? So long as they were not bad to their parents, then Allah will accept all their salah. Your salah will be fine, your zakat will be fine, everything will be fine, so long as you are good to your parents. If every other thing in your life is good and you are bad to your parents, 0. You know those 0? All those 0 for primary school where they go put ear and nose and mouth. Now that kind of 0 you go get Yamal Kiyama. Some of you abandon your parents for years. Give them nothing. Because one reason, my mom was not nice. You are giving flimsy excuse. A Sahaba came to the Prophet. He said, my parents are not Muslims. Should I still be dutiful? He said, be dutiful to them, even if they are not Muslims. Not to talk about they are Muslims. You are giving one excuse or the other. They did this to me. They did that to me. Petty, you are just carrying arguments. Carrying arguments from one place to another. What you concern person, you carry wahala, and one person, you should bed, mama fly. You have to be good to your parents, no matter what. Even if they spit on your face. You'll be dutiful to them. That is when Allah will reward you more and more. More and more. Okay. What is the punishment for the one who's disobedient to the parents? I said before death. In another narration, a Sahaba was dying. And they were telling the Sahaba, say la ilaha illallah. Said he could not say la ilaha illallah. Say la ilaha, he could not say la. Then I came to the Prophet. Say, Prophet, this Sahaba is, we are trying to make him say la ilaha illallah before he dies. So we have hope. He cannot say. The Prophet came to him. Say la ilaha illallah. He cannot. Then the Prophet now asked him, he said, is something wrong that you want to tell us? Why can't you say la ilaha illallah? The bro said, Prophet, actually, he can talk, but he cannot say la ilaha illallah. He said, Prophet, I don't know. I tried, but I think me and my mom, we are quarreling. I have not been really good to my mom. I think that's the problem. He himself, he was not good to the mom. The prophet had to call for his mom. The mom came. The prophet said, if I tell you this, your son will enter hellfire, but you are the only one who can save him from hellfire. Won't you save him? The mom said, I will save him. Say, but this your son says he was really bad to you. Are you ready to forgive him so Allah will accept him into paradise? The mom said, I forgive him. And the prophet said, Allah is a witness. You forgive him. He said, yes, I forgive him. And I want Allah to put you. See how moms are. After all, this guy don't do all the bad things to the East. He himself, he know that he was bad to the mom. And he told the prophet, the mom still forgave him. And then the prophet asked him to say La ilaha illallah. And then he was able to say La ilaha illallah. And he made paradise. See, being bad to mom is making somebody not to say La ilaha illallah. Beware, I beg you, beware of the things you do to your parents. Beware of the things you do to your parents. So I'm going to summarize. There's another hadith of Anas bin Dinar, but I will not be able to go into the long hadith right now. I'm going to say this one is the hadith where the Prophet said Ameen 3 times, and the Sahabas asked the Prophet, why did you say Ameen 3 times? And he said, the angel Gabriel came to me and said, anyone who sees the month of Ramadan and Allah does not forgive them before they die, may they end up in hell and Allah throw them far away from him. Say Ameen. He said Ameen. The next one, he says, anyone who hears my name and does not say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, may Allah throw them away, put them in hell. Say Ameen. He said Ameen. And the last one is anyone who meets their mom or their dad, anyone who meets any of their parents alive, and do not use them to enter paradise, may Allah throw the person in hell and throw the person far away from him. Say Ameen. The Prophet said Ameen 3 times. You met your parents alive, you did not use them to make Jannah. Subhanallah. Your own is finished. Okbari. Otito, Okbari, you don't finish. Keeping the ties of kinship in general. That's the last thing I want to say. Taking care of your siblings, the Prophet said, is the best sadaqah. Some of you have money, you help people outside, but you cannot help your own family. You cannot help your own children, your own cousins, but you are giving donation outside. You build mosque here and there. It is not good. The Prophet said the ties of kinship, you remember the sirat, the little thin head that is thinner than the head that will walk on the day of judgment that has the hellfire under it. He said ties of kinship stand there, they wait to drag people into hell. Come here, you want to take care of your cousin when they ask you for money, they toss you don't get money. Come here and throw me inside hellfire. And then what about those who don't have parents? Those who don't have parents at all, what are you going to do? You've already lost that. So the Prophet said, no, it has not ended. Apart from praying for your parents, which gets to them, because the Prophet said on the day of judgment, your parents will go to paradise and say, Allah, where this paradise will come now? Not do like this. So he said, your picking pray for you. Now increase your paradise. He said, be good to their friends. Your papa friend that is still alive. Anybody, he said, any relationship your parents have tied while they were alive, the responsibilities they had while they were alive before they died, keep those responsibilities. It is like you are being dutiful to them. For those who don't have them alive. I'm going to conclude here because of time. I don't want to take most of your time. I think I tried as much as I can to touch the points as I should. And if you guys have questions or anything, I'm going to end here. Let me hand over back to the host before I take the whole time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much, Dr. Mubarak. That was very enlightening. The questions have been flying in, so I wouldn't dally too much. Let's just try and get through a few of them while we can.
Okay.
I guess the first question is about having a party when you lose somebody. Somebody lost their mom. He wants to celebrate her in a big way. What do you do? How can you shed more light on that, on the loss of the mother or the grandmother?
Yeah, I think many people have the different cultures of 7 days, 40 days. This is first of all, it's a bid'ah, it's an innovation. The Sahabas were not known to do that. So we don't do all those 3 days, 7 days, 40 days. And then why are you having a party? They will tell you it's sadaqah. We want to cook and give food. Good. So it's good to give sadaqah for a dead person, for Allah to reward them, but you don't have to make it like a party, like you are celebrating the person that died. This is what the kuffar, the Christians and the Jews do. We are not like them. So it is good to give sadaqah to poor people, asking Allah to give the reward to the dead person, but you don't do it as a party. That is very un-Islamic. Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next question, how do we manage situations where a husband restricts his wife from spending time with her parents?
Yeah, there when there is a discrepancy between the parents of the wife and the husband, Islam says you should obey your husband. So that's a very complicated situation. If your husband is stopping you from visiting your parents and you want to visit your parents for some reason or the other, you are supposed to obey your husband, but Allah knows your intention. So Allah will reward you. If it is not something that is too serious, maybe there are some husbands who try to cut you off from your family totally. That is unacceptable. But if it is for some reason, maybe they feel it's not safe, or who's going to take care of the baby, or for some reason that is understandable, that is okay with you, but you just feel they are stopping you from doing the duty to your parents, you should obey your husband and be patient, and Allah will give you the reward of that intention you have for your parents. But if it's a very complicated issue where your husband is trying to separate you from your family, then that has to be treated in a totally different way. Is that okay? And that is something I need more details about before I can answer.
Okay, thank you. Just as we're going on, I just want to remind everyone that on Sunday we have an Ask a Scholar session with Sheikh Ahmed, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Because I know we are not going to be able to get through everybody's questions. So,
Okay.
There's okay, what's the next question? In marriage, there's an expectation for women to take their mothers-in-law as their mothers and treat them as their mothers. Is this what we are required of in the deen? Is this possible to do?
No, there is no requirement like that, like you treat your mother-in-laws as your mothers. Nope. Your mother is your mother, your mother-in-law is your mother-in-law, all mala with your kettle. You treat your mother-in-law the way you should treat your mother-in-law as a mother-in-law, but not on the same platform as your mother. The prophet said the paradise is under the feet of your mother. Did you hear the paradise is under the feet of your mother-in-law? So I'm not saying it in a way that you should not be nice to your mother-in-laws. No. Be kind and nice to your mother-in-laws, but you should be kinder and nicer to your own personal parents, for sure.
Okay. My question is about those of us without parents. What can we do for them other than du'as and charity?
I made that point at the end. So if your mom was known to be the one paying the school fees of someone before she died, or she was known to be the one doing one or two things before she died, take up that responsibility. If she had friends that she used to visit before she died, visit them on her behalf. That is seen as duty to parents, according to Sahabas and scholars. Yeah.
Okay, another question. How do we serve parents who have lost their memories? Sometimes they remember who you are, sometimes they have no idea who you are.
Yes, so that is even good. So it means they need more attention from you. So they need you to help them. If possible, give them medical care. Spend time with them. Just show affection to them. So even if they lost their memory, Allah is seeing you. Allah does not lose his memory. Angels do not lose their memory. Is that okay? So just be nice to them. They having a memory problem is their own problem. That doesn't stop you from doing your duty as a child for them.
Okay, this question is not directly related. What is your view on personal pictures on the wall in the room where you say your salat?
So there are two things. Taking pictures, most scholars say you can't take at all. Some scholars say you can, but all scholars agree, those that say you can, those that say you can, they all agree you cannot hang them on the wall. There is no one that say you can hang them on the wall. So it is not good to hang pictures on the wall in your homes at all. But taking the pictures, putting them in an album or on your phone, that is the one that has a difference of opinion. Is that okay? So try as much as you can to take pictures of your home, especially where you pray, please.
Okay. How can a child cope with parents who are always cursing or abusing him and complaining about him, not for bad behavior, but perhaps for comparing one child to another?
I didn't get the question.
How can a child cope with parents who are always cursing or abusing him and complaining about him, not for bad behavior?
That is very bad. That is abusive. I know many children like that. Many parents don't know. Now we're talking about obedience to parents. Wallahi, we need to know how to take care of our children. You don't compare your child with someone. They are not the same. We are all different. I'm not saying you should encourage bad character, but there are better ways to correct a child than compare the child with someone. Is that okay? It is very bad. Don't compare them. You have no control over their future. You don't know what they are going to become. You can only try your best. And this is very powerful. So anything you tell these children is look at somebody asking this question. This person has probably been touched or been abused in one way or the other in such a way that they can't hold it anymore. They had to ask questions. So if this is true, whatever that has been done to you is really wrong, and it is very un-Islamic. You can't even compare two children. Not even compare one child with another of your child. Don't you see? It is very wrong Islamically. It is very wrong Islamically.
Okay, thank you. I want to be obedient to my parents, but they are oppressive to my spouse. How do I manage this dynamic?
Yeah, so to separate it, they are oppressive to your spouse. So that is the business of your spouse. Is that okay? So tell your spouse, Emma Bino Ejo, that's how my parents are. I'll try to manage, but it doesn't stop you from being obedient. Because they are oppressive to your spouse doesn't mean you say, Mommy, I will not send you that money anymore. No, no, no. You can only try. Beg your husband to be patient. Beg them. If possible, don't make them have too much contact. Is that okay? Don't make them have too much contact, but you have to still be dutiful to them. You have to still give them what they deserve. Give them the time they deserve. Is that okay?
Can you pray for your deceased mother who was not a Muslim, or even deceased relations, siblings,
No.
etc.?
Anyone that wasn't a Muslim, no, your hands are tied. Allah will be in charge. There's nothing you can do. Ibrahim alayhi salam, the father died. The Prophet Ibrahim, the father died, who was worshiping idols. He tried to pray for the father. Allah stopped him. So we use that as an example. We cannot pray for those who we know died for sure, not Muslims. Yes.
Okay. What if the husband spends more time with his parents than his family and kids? Is it wrong to demand more time with your husband and ask him to spend less time with his parents?
Yes, it is wrong. So you can demand more time from your husband, but never demand less time with his parents. That is where you match the line. Is that okay? There is nothing wrong in telling your husband, we need more time. But don't tell him, spend less time with your parents. No. Is that okay? So tell your husband, there is nothing wrong in you going to your parents, but can you also spend some more time with us? That is acceptable. Is that okay? That is acceptable. But telling your husband, no, you spend too much time with your parents. Spend less time with your parents and spend more time with us. You are asking your husband, you are entering Jannah too much. Stop entering Jannah and spend time with us.
Okay, I think that's just about what we can take. Before we let you go,
okay.
Dr.
I
Mubarak,
see there's a lot of, and they're all interesting questions.
Yeah,
I believe the Sheikh on the next session, inshallah, will be able to take care of most of them.
Definitely, thank you. So, just before we let you go, just remember.
Sorry, before Dr. Mubarak makes a dua, so on Sunday, as Deji mentioned, we have ask a scholar with Sheikh Ahmed, but we're gonna have another Ask a Scholar session 2 Sundays after that. Dr. Mubarak, please, is it possible for us to bring you back?
That'll be fine. I'll be in the US then. That'll be okay. I go back to the US on Thursday. I just came here briefly for some business. So I'll be back in the US by then. Just send me an email. That should work.
Fantastic. So that we all, because even I have plenty of questions, so that we can have straight 2 hours of just question and answers.
Hey, that would be perfect. May Allah give me the wisdom to be able to answer them.
Allahumma ameen.
Ameen. And please, if so, as you are, as just before we round up, if you can please do a quick dua, and please, if you can focus on, people who have lost their parents or who have lost a parent in your duas. So thank you very much.
Yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all our intentions. I'm going to start from there. Everybody here in this lecture today, we have different problems, we have different needs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever it is that we want, Allah knows it to the very deepest of our hearts. May Allah grant it for us in the best ways, beautify it for us even more than what we expected. And this is very important because Allah sometimes answers du'as in ways we don't know. You might ask Allah for banana, Allah will give you apple. Because Allah understands that your body will contain apple more than the banana you're asking for. The banana you're asking for might have been a poison. Or sometimes you're asking Allah for one thing, you think Allah is not answering that dua. The Prophet said, Allah can turn that dua into protecting you from something else. So maybe somebody was trying to do something to you, and you say, oh Allah, I want to buy a car this year. Or you say, this year money did not come for car. Maybe somebody was doing juju to kill you that year. Allah used that dua for car to prevent that juju from killing you. You never know. So Allah is always answering our duas in different ways, whether directly or indirectly. So I want us to have this at the back of our minds. So may Allah grant us all our heart desires. May Allah make life easy for us. Grant us peaceful homes. Those who have deceased parents, may Allah continue to use us as blessings for our parents. May Allah accept all our duas for the parents that have died. Those parents who have died amongst us, may Allah accept them in paradise, forgive all their shortcomings, and put them in the best and best of Jannatul Firdaus, the paradise where the prophets will be. And let us continue doing the good things. Let's not stop. Let's not stop. That sadaqah you are giving, keep doing it. You are being generous, keep doing it. Don't allow anything stop you. Don't allow anything discourage you. Some people will tell you that person you are giving that money to, they don't need the money. You see that person is begging. He has 2 hands. He has 2 legs. Why are you giving him money? Can't he walk? He is begging. You are not giving him money because you want to help him. You are giving him money because he asked you, and Allah said you should give when people ask. Whatever he does with the money is none of your business. Whether he's scamming you, whether Allah has already rewarded you. You should always remember that. Is that okay? You don't want people gratitude. Don't say people thank me. So we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from hellfire, give us peaceful lives, protect our children from evil eyes, protect us from the enemies. It might be amongst our friends, our neighbors, our own family members who hate us and want to hurt us physically or spiritually. May Allah protect us from all of them and continue to make us rise and shine. You will be shining, you will be rising, and people will be saying, now, wow, the more evil they try to do, the more shine bobo that you are. May Allah continue to make us shine bobo and shine haja everywhere we are, and we stand out in every congregation we find ourselves as a barakah and special grace from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to recite Ayatul Kursi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use this as a blessing and protection, and to also use this verse as an intercession for all our parents, both those that are alive. May Allah give them long life and good health, and those that have passed away, may Allah grant them peace. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه My panelists should correct me now. I saw a funny thing. Sorry to cut you. Somebody said Shine Bobo. It just distracted me. I saw it on the chat section. He just cut my recitation. He said Shine Baby too. And then I just got confused. And I was like, where did I stop? You people should stop. I thought I was funny, but wallahi, many people here are funnier than me. When I saw their comments, I can't hold myself from laughing. So let me recite Ayatul Kursi again for the intention I just made for this dua. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. Someone made another important comment. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. That is what I should have started first. Maybe it's the shaitan that now came inside the process. So al-isti'adha is very compulsory before any verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بعد الاستعاذة والبسملة. Alhamdulillah. Thank you all for this, and I appreciate the time. And I know you all have lots of questions. Save your questions for the question and answer day that's coming up. And then, inshallah, we'll tend to most of them as much as we can. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mubarak. Thank you for your time. May Allah continue to bless you, reward you, continue to improve your gift. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Please, a reminder about the question and answer session on Sunday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Please join us. Also, remember to please join our mailing list. We'll send link that have the recording of this khutbah session by Dr. Sheikh, by Dr. Mubarak. So thank you so much, everybody. I will see you next week, Friday, inshallah. Sunday first, and then Upper Friday. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.